Hi everyone, and welcome to the fourth Mind AI podcast. I'm your host, Peter Drew. This podcast is dedicated to this amazing community that's evolved on social media all around AI. I've never seen anything like it. I've been online since 1995, and the community that has erupted, particularly on Twitter and YouTube around AI, is just unbelievable. The coolest people you ever meet. All they do is share as much knowledge and information as possible. So that's what this podcast is dedicated to, connecting all these people together and hopefully creating even more of a connection between all these amazing people. Today we have Ojasvi Yadav. He studied in Trinity College in Dublin. He did his time over there and he really enjoyed it, and now he's back in Bangalore and he is working 80, 60, 70, 80 hours a week and hustling. He reckons the community over there is amazing. They just get down and work, which is what I love about him. So let's get on with the interview. Hi Ojasvi, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Mate, I'm so excited to have you here. First of all, I saw some of your work on Twitter, and that's what led to us getting together. And
Yeah.
we've had a few discussions already, so I thought I'd love to invite you to be the first podcast interviewer we are doing on the Fourth Mind Business AI podcast. So to celebrate this occasion, I thought I would ask the questions correctly. So I dumped all your data into ChatGPT-4 and got it to ask the first couple of questions. So are you ready for the first couple of questions?
Yep. Let's see what GPT-4 thinks is the right question to ask.
Okay, and you can rate them afterwards if you like.
Oh,
Okay,
sure. Yes. Yeah. I'm so excited. Let's go.
okay. Now, by the way, you've given me permission to refer to you as OJ because Australians
Yes.
have difficulty with pronouncing your name. So, OJ, congratulations on your numerous accomplishments, including your gold medal from Trinity College Dublin and your highly graded thesis. Can you share with us the key factors that contributed to your academic success and how you've been able to apply them in the current role of artificial intelligence?
Thank you so much for those compliments. I think one of the biggest factors for me was just the ability to work on a problem for 12 hours or more. Um, Initially, I used to have to context switch a lot, and because of that, I was not able to focus on one problem or one subject. And going into the third year at Trinity College, I just thought that I'll just work on one subject in a day, whether it be physics, whether it be computers, whether it be calculus, whatever it was. And that just translated very well for me in AI as well. So once I joined, started working in research labs and companies. There also, I really found the ability to work on a problem for just a very long duration to have to basically give myself enough time to look at it from many perspectives. That really allowed me to uh, get very good in this field.
That's awesome. I actually just sent a meme to my head developer exactly on that topic. In fact, I think it's so appropriate. I'm going to share it with you now. One sec. Where's my Skype? I'm going to. Okay, I'm going to share the screen so you can see this.
Sure.
It's perfect. Which one? It is window, entire screen. This one. Okay, so look at the first one. He's thinking. The second image, he's thinking harder. The third one, and then someone says, "Have you got a second?" And boom, it all disappears. That is. I literally sent that to Maxim last night. Oh, that's awesome.
Ooh,
Okay, cool.
nice.
On to the second question. As someone who is leading in the field of artificial intelligence, what do you believe are the most significant challenges and opportunities in AI today? And how do you envisage the future, or envision even the future of this technology impacting society?
I think the biggest resistance when it comes to AI is just reliability of answers. Like, if you were to ask it, give me a recipe for a Michelin star restaurant, you would get something, and it would try to make it sound very confident. But there could be some areas. So in my line of work, I find that ChatGPT's answers are not always correct for coding, but they sound kind of right. So you have to be quite careful with that. Um, Given this issue of reliability and trust in the correctness and accuracy of the responses, I think the biggest field that's ripe for disruption is content, because content. So let's say content could be something like generate an Instagram caption for a post that's about this. There could be a few errors in the caption. Let's say if your audience is mainly British style of English, then you would have COLOUR and in your captions. But since ChatGPT is mainly trained on American data or maybe data generated by Americans, a lot of instances of the spelling of color are COLOR. So for some reason, if your caption is you're intending it for a British style of English, uh, you might get a caption that says that has the wrong spelling. So you have to be careful there, but it's not going to be as big of an issue as maybe writing bad code that can affect your entire company's app or your company's website. So those are very high risk scenarios, and I think content is where the risk is very low, and also the tech that we have at the moment is optimized for it. So one of the example problems that I worked on, and this tool is actually being used by I think 5,000 people every single day. Uh, it's essentially an SEO tag generator. It based on your so let's say you're selling a product, and based on your product name, you'd ideally want as a seller, you'd want good SEO because that's free marketing. You don't have to spend a
Mm-hmm.
penny in that. So with
Yep.
if you're trying to optimize SEO with GPT-4, I've actually built a tool that people are using that lets them generate appropriate SEO title tags and SEO description tags. And that way, because most of the sellers, they don't really know what SEO is. Uh, by us, I mean to say Dukan. So I work for a company called Dukan. That's an e-commerce enablement company, and it's essentially Shopify if you want to understand it in one word. But we have sellers who sell products and they care about SEO. So I'm just
So,
giving you
so,
context here.
so that's the equivalent of Shopify in America, the same sort of scale, but in India. So
Yep, yep,
it's a large
absolutely.
company. Yep. Yep.
And we try to be smart about it. We know where our stores are located or which states in India they would want to operate in. We also know the store category, so that's its fashion, and we use all of these contexts individually to create a very specific but also contextualized SEO. So if you want to rank your product higher in let's say Delhi, then you'd want some mention of Delhi in your SEO tags, right? So we
Absolutely. Yep.
also have that information and we use it to create even better SEO tags.
Nice. And on that point about coding errors, this is my theory on it. So, for context, I learned HTML 20 years ago, basic HTML. So that is my full level of coding experience, though I've been working with coders for decades. So I was watching Matt Wolf's videos. He pumps out one video every day on AI, and he pumps out amazing content. And in one of those videos, he developed a computer game using ChatGPT 4, and it was fascinating to watch for me just watching the language he used to talk to ChatGPT 4 to spit out code. And when he got an error, he would say, he'd just copy and paste the error in and say, this is the error. Why is it doing that? Blah, blah, blah. So just based on that, I decided to create my own Chrome extension, because a problem that I've got here is that I've got over 20 Chrome windows open. Each of those windows have 10 to 15 tabs. So I thought I'd build a Chrome extension to search within the tabs. And sure enough, using ChatGPT 4, it allowed me to do that. But what I discovered, the first lot of code it gave me was always incorrect. And my theory on that is that you've got a dumb human talking to all the information in the world, and the first instruction from me, it gets pretty good. Like, it gives out pretty good considering what the instruction is. But then when I give it a specific instruction which says this code does this, but it doesn't do this, and it fixes it straight away. And so that enabled me, a non-coder, to create a Chrome extension, which I've never done before, which is actually very useful. So the point I'm getting at is a lot of the errors in code could be the instruction set provided is not adequate to the task to provide the perfect code result first time. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. Yes, and I think I just want to add that this is the first iteration of this technology.
Yeah.
It's not even been like 5, 6 months since ChatGPT has taken up.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yes, this is essentially the first iteration. And the first iteration is so good that it's not going to get you there 100% in the first answer, but it'll get you maybe 70 or 80% there. And once you're 70, 80% there, that's you've crossed enough bridges that you can see the target. And those errors that you see once you run that 70% accurate code, um, you can just, if you just feed those errors back, you're correct, exactly like you said. If you just feed those errors back, that 70% progress that it had already made, it just quickly solves on the errors that it had iteratively, and it's good and going. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure like this is the first iteration, so maybe in the second or third, we'll be we'll get 100% accurate responses.
I was just reading some research that right now ChatGPT 4 is limited to 32,000 tokens. So that's, you can enter it. That's how much data you can enter in. And these people have already enabled 2 million tokens for an entry for their large language model. And that will be public, I think, in a month or two. But 2 million tokens is 1.3 million words. And the entire Harry Potter book series is 1.2 million words. So what that means is, instead of putting snippets of code into a large language model, you could put your entire code into it and then interrogate that code. And if it's got an error in the code, since you've supplied the entirety of the code, it will find it and fix it for you. So comparing that to where we are today is phenomenal. I've got a friend at the gym. I've got a friend at the gym who's been a C++ programmer for 20 years. And it's interesting. He keeps telling me how it doesn't work for him. And he keeps, I can see he's got this resistance to it. I think he feels really threatened. And so he keeps telling me how it's not good. And I'm saying, this is the biggest tech revolution in the history of humanity. And you keep telling me why it's not good. So I think he'll find out once he can dump in his entire code that it will work and he'll be converted. I think he's a bit slow.
Yeah. I mean, just to give a great analogy, I read this on Twitter. Context windows are exactly like talking to someone with a limited time. Right now, we're kind of limited to just 20 seconds or maybe 30 seconds. So let's
Yes.
say you're talking to someone and you're only allowed to respond within 20 seconds. So that's where we are at the moment. But these technologies that you just mentioned, 2 million context windows, 2 million tokens of length, and ChatGPT 4 being 32K tokens. So those are just bigger context windows. So whatever questions that you have, these bigger context windows allow you to have bigger questions and bigger context. And you're right, that enables you to do stuff like training this on entire Harry Potter and then just asking questions. Or you could also maybe, if someone wants to have a religious angle to it, you could feed ChatGPT your entire Bible and then ask questions on it. Maybe you could be
Whoa.
maybe you can create a tool like for religious people. Let's say you can
Yeah,
create a
yeah.
tool like ChatGPT for Bible. So one of your clients could really want to be like, Jesus Christ, I want to have a great day today. This is what I have in plan, and so. I'm
Wow.
sure ChatGPT would come up with like biblic instructions or biblic ideas on how to go on about your day, how to look at these problems, and so forth. Um,
Whoa.
yeah, so like
Whoa.
just
That's
bigger
huge.
context windows allow you to have bigger context.
Wow. Mate, that's fascinating. Okay, on to the third question. Where am I? With such an impressive background in academia, how have your experiences at Trinity College Dublin shaped your approach to innovation and leadership within the artificial intelligence domain?
I think it's really just spending so much time in research first during college and even after in a research lab. It's given me the ability to um, work on problems in a very analytical way. What I mean to say by that is trying to find that one area of the entire problem of the entire issue, and just trying to solve that because that would allow you to solve the rest of things. Like, what's the one issue where the problem has the most issues? Because if you're working on something complex, if you're trying to write like a good research paper, it requires you to look at it from a different lens and then break it down. And in the end, your contribution is just one thing, and you have to compare that contribution with others. That's translated very well for me in academia, especially given the problems that I work on. So I don't work on problems that are wrapper-like solutions. For your audience, I just want to add wrapper-like solutions are um, things like let's say train a funny chatbot. So that would just require you to from your end as a developer, that would just require you to prompt GPT as you are a funny comedian, and then you could even like add styles. You can mix Joe Rogan, you can mix Joey Diaz, you can mix um,
Dave Chappelle?
whatever comedians that you like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then you in the end you say you have to say now respond as a combination of these comedians, and
Nice.
that's all you have to do from your end as a developer, and people can just come on and try to have funny conversations with your bot. So that would qualify as a wrapper level problem. It's not really that. It's a low hanging fruit. Anyone can do
Yep,
it.
yep, yep, yep.
What I tend to work on are problems which have a bigger impact and which generally tend to require a more complicated solution. So things like writing up a full blog from a product name and a few things like product description, and so that would require you to go into details like coming up with full big HTML code that has proper formatting and backlinks to that product that you're trying to promote. That's a little bit complicated, and I like to work on those problems a little bit more than the wrapper level ones. And the benefit with that is you get to have something more defensible because lesser people can do it, and also it would allow you, again, going back to the problems that are ripe for disruption. Content creation is one area where you can afford to create mistakes that GPT-4 generally has, but still do great business. And just working on these problems, yes, it's quite easy, and It doesn't require a lot of expertise. It just requires you to think. Just that factor really can really get you rich very quickly. So I have this friend. He had a Chrome extension that looks at your Twitter bookmarks, and he gave all those bookmarks as information input to GPT, and then he essentially prompted all of that information, collected it in one entity, and just prompted it to answer questions, whatever the extensions users would have had. So let's say, for in my example, if I have a lot of Twitter bookmarks in AI research, and I want to use this extension, I would just go and press install, and then I can just ask questions. Okay, based on these bookmarks, I'm currently interested in vision problems, image generation problems. Please find me the tweets which are most relevant for it, and create a research plan for 5 hours. I have time to search, I have time to look into this problem for 5 hours. Find me the tweets and areas which I should work on. And so applications like these, and so turns out he sold that Chrome extension for, I think, $1,500 on one of these marketplaces, which
Wow.
are essentially startup marketplaces where you can sell your projects or products. So yeah, and it only took him one day to create something like this, and it's a great way to get rich very quickly. And I
Yeah.
think your viewers would really benefit if they were to equip themselves in skills required to create these tools, and also learn how to talk to GPT. What's the correct way to get the information that you want in the fastest way possible? And there are people like that who've used this knowledge to build great tools, and currently there are also people who are learning to do this. And I'm sure you'd have users in both the categories.
Absolutely. Well, I suppose that leads me into one of the reasons we're doing this podcast is so I can introduce you to my audience and the students of my AI course to let them know that you're on board. That so if they need a developer to develop some stuff, we've got you on board, which is awesome. Well, I just thought I'd share my screen and show people the first video I found about you, and I found it on Twitter. This is on your Instagram. So I'll share my screen again. Entire screen, this one. This is your Instagram account. There's you holding up your award. Thank you very much. But the video I want to show was this one, which I love.
Yep, I drew a picture and I just talked what I wanted to do there, and it just created it out of nowhere.
That was awesome, honestly.
Thank you. Thank you. It's actually based on an Indian TV show that we had and so I was born in the 90s, and that was based on a show where this character, he's like a pre-teenager boy, and he comes across this pencil, and whatever he draws with that pencil just creates that stuff out of nowhere. And he goes on an adventure with that pencil, like fighting crime or helping his friends and so on and so
Wow.
forth. Yeah, so that was just an idea. That was just something conceptual. And now, since AI enabled something like this, I thought, why not make something that just brings in nostalgia and creativity?
I suppose in theory you could evolve that to create a short movie by just supplying uh, hand-drawn pictures of different scenes and combining it all together to create a short movie. That would be epic.
And you can have also background score created for it. I recently saw an application which essentially cloned Drake's voice entirely and created a full song out of it, and people were blown away with the how accurate that sounded. And
Uh,
yeah, so
abs- Absolutely, I know, and
you
I think the music industry is in for a big shock. And the same is what shocked me was just finding out a few weeks ago the modeling industry, supermodels or models in general, like Wow. Um, there are now online model agencies where you can go and book whatever models you want, and AI creates them for you. I think
Hmm.
it was Nike or another big brand just did a big campaign, and they used AI 100%. And they said the reason we used AI was to meet our diversity quota. That's what they said, and so all the people using their campaign were 100% AI generated, which was amazing. Like I never thought. Like it's just one of those things. The models are the one of the ones first affected, and now we know artists are dramatically affected by Mid-Journey, for example. And the
Hmm.
progress of Mid-Journey over the last couple of months is just breathtaking.
Yeah, yeah, and you're absolutely right. The main skill required here is prompt engineering. That's
Mm-hmm.
essentially how do you talk to an AI model in order to get what you want, exactly what you want, because the input that these models are trained on is human language, but however they still have a style. So on Midjourney, let's say you have a prompt that goes like hills, and then you have another prompt that goes hills, comma, sigma 24 mf slash 8. In that case, the picture that you will get from just a hill prompt would be vastly different from the second one, because in the second one you actually define the lens that the picture would be imagined from, and you'll
Mm,
get like a very nice wide view of good contrasty colors. And
right.
since that term is related to professional photography, the quality of the second picture would be much better. So just by adding a camera lens style and whatever the configuration
Yeah.
is, you can get much better pictures. And the startups that you mentioned, these people, the modeling agency ones, what they essentially have is are prompt engineers. That's a new job that's coming up, which qualifies you on your ability to talk to these AI models.
Mm,
And people are paying crazy money for it. Right now, prompt engineering is getting paid much more than software development.
yeah.
The average job is in America, it's from 200,000 to 300,000 range, which is absolutely nuts.
When I first started writing my course 3 months ago, what I said was that companies employ social media managers to manage the social media. Obviously, the CEO and the other people, they don't jump on Instagram and Twitter and tweet out content. They employ specific social media experts to do that. And I think the parallels between that and now with AI are significant, considering that AI is much bigger than social media ever was. That companies will be employing prompt engineers, or I think, what did I call them? AI specialists, or I can't remember the term I came up with, but that was obvious from the very beginning. As soon as ChatGPT came out, I knew that there's going to be a brand new industry specifically of what is now called prompt engineers. And uh, I like talking about prompting. I, I'm pretty good at it by default because I've had a lot of staff over nearly 3 decades, and a lot of the staff, um, I communicate purely in text, generally speaking, and most of my staff, English is their second language. So I've had to develop good communication skills as a designer to get what I want through being very elaborate. And it's very similar to ChatGPT. The more elaborate you are, the more information you give it, the better a response you're going to get, which is obvious now. But I caught on pretty early. Have you have you seen any of the super prompts going around Twitter?
Yeah, they're absolutely nuts. I saw the super prompt for essentially, let's say you're a student and you want to learn differential equations. All you have to do is in the big super prompt that he posted, just replace it on top the subject, and
Yep.
you'll get like the most fundamental topic list. You'll get an introduction. You'll get a 7-day study plan. You'll also get actually code. So let's say if this was a computer science related project, you'll get the code that you should do, hello world code for each and every small projects it had. So these are great. I've actually I'm working on a very niche project right now with related to prompt engineering. So I've actually, since the time these came out, I've been practicing the skill, and for the last 1 month, I've been thinking of monetizing the skill as well.
Hmm.
I'm coming up with the coloring book for kids based on
Wow.
themes and
Wow.
personalized themes. Yes. So that would be like my customers would give me images of the children, and they would tell me a little bit about their interests and what they like. Let's say they're interested in a cartoon
Yep.
show, they really like celebrating the festival Diwali in India.
So
And
the prompts are developed off their interests.
yes, and maybe let's say the kid has a certain fascination with water, and so using all of these contexts, I create specific prompts to create coloring pictures for the children based on their interests, and those have actually. So I showed that to one of my startup buddies,
Hmm.
and he's very confident that if we were to put this on Amazon as a personalized product, we get 1,000 sales a day. So yeah, things are looking
Beautiful.
great. And just because I think the kind of defensibility I have here is my prompting style, because I have a prompt so I did a word calculation 1 week back. My prompt for making these coloring books is 1,000 words,
Wow.
essentially, roughly.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Roughly, because I added few more. I think it was 950 when I saw it, but then I added a few more. Right now it's close to 1,000, but yes. So yeah, I mean, you need very advanced, very nuanced kind of prompting style to get there. But things are looking great. Feel like lots of money can be made here in a very easy way.
Absolutely. Well, and what I'm teaching my course and what I want people to really appreciate is, let me know if you agree, the barrier to entry to creating new products has never been lower. Like the amount of assistance that AI gives you in product creation, and not even creating the product. You can create the product, but then get the amazing marketing plan, who to target, where to target, or even where to get your um, business idea created, where you can find people to develop it for you, other people
Mm.
to market it for you, and how to advertise it. Um, it's incredible the amount of work one person can do with AI from one desk is phenomenal, and that's what I'm trying to impress upon people, particularly in the SEO industry, because um, there's no other way to put it, but the time of making good money in SEO is declining. There, um, we've probably got 2 years, but probably 2 years is um, it's probably not going to be 2 years. The way
Yeah.
AI
You're being conservative. You're being very
conservative,
conservative
yeah,
when you say too.
yeah. So, like, man, I've been working online since 1995. I'm old. I'm 59, and yet now AI's come along, and it's like I'm at the very beginning again. It's like it's given me a second wind. Like there is just so much opportunity right now that, and I've got so many other projects. It's hard to, for me personally, to um, solidify a direction moving forward because it's particularly with AI.
Yeah, in fact, I was on the verge of a breakdown, just burnout last week, and what I came up with was a conclusion that it's a little hard for me, but I have to do it. Now, I should not, going forward, I should not pick projects. I should kill projects, because so many of my projects they're just going to go obsolete very soon, and I need to prioritize which ones to kill fast, because the new ones are going to make them absolutely obsolete. And yeah, it's a little hard, but that's what we have to do. But it's exciting. I'm not complaining.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a
sure.
great it's a great time to be in AI right now.
Oh, it's never been a better time. Particularly for young people as yourself coming through, like hitting your prime in the middle of AI is like it's never ever happened before. I'm training young people, young coders, and their future is so bright. I've got a 12-year-old working for me. Well, when I say working, like he goes to school, he doesn't work for me, but
Hmm.
yeah, I pay him to do tasks, and that Chrome extension that I made, I've got two, a 12-year-old and a 15-year-old working together, and I gave them a task: create this Chrome extension. I made a video of it, so I want you guys to make your own and improve upon it and show me what you can do. And so the 12-year-old, I gave him the task, and in 20 minutes he sent me the download of the Chrome extension. And I said, "Is that it?" And I loaded it. It worked. And I said, "Look, the task is to make it better. That's what I want to learn from you." And in 10 minutes, it was all the design was upgraded, had new features. This kid at 12 years old is in 30 minutes just spat out this brand new product. So I'm focusing on getting him learning as much as possible. Are you familiar with Replit, that online coding platform?
Not very closely. In fact, I really want to. I'm going to attend one of his talks that's coming up in 12 days here in India, Bangalore. But no,
It's
I'm not. What
uh,
is
it's
it?
it's fascinating. I just watched the an hour. I can send you the link for their hour presentation of what Replit is. Their goal is to get 1 billion people coding. They've already got 22 million people coding on their platform. It's an IDE. It's it's based on Python, but it's Python and AI. So you ask the platform to create the code, and it creates the code for you. It hosts it. You can create your own products on a subdomain on Replit. It's replit.app. So you can create a product. Just tell the AI what you want to create. It will create the product. Then you can host it and commercialize it in minutes. It's fascinating. I'm not a coder, but I want to get these young boys into it and learn as much about it as possible. I'll send you the link later. I'll put it in the show notes so other people can see it. It's a brilliant platform, and what I really like is their ethical motivation. They want to solve the problems of the world by teaching people how to code, and it's never been a better time to do it, particularly with the assistance of AI, which they've implemented in their coding model.
If I could help or guide your viewers in the right direction, I would say try to come up. Let's say if your viewers are trying to create something on Replit, try to come up with tools or products on Replit that work in the problem that they're very specialized in. So one of my friends, he is very good in writing very well optimized SQL queries, database queries,
Mm-hmm.
and he created a Replit tool, not a Replit tool, but something similar on Hugging Face, and that tool essentially lets people throw in their SQL queries, raw SQL queries, and lets his LLM model to optimize those queries and make it run in the fastest way possible. Because
Right.
these are production level applications and they require very fast data extraction. So he was able to do it because he already knew a lot about writing optimized SQL queries. And he was able to use his domain knowledge to better prompt and better train his model.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually resulted in creating something that stands out from rest of all the other things. Because if someone like me was able to do it, I were to do it. If someone like me were to do something like this, I would not be able to do it as good as him since I don't know what good SQL queries look like. So yeah, your users should focus on the core strengths or expertise that they already have and try to innovate that area. That would be
Well,
a good
a lot of my
place to start.
a lot of my audience are some are older than me, some are younger, but generally they've had experience in the real world in different industries. So I think a parallel to what you're saying would be to focus on the industry you know best and create tools for that specific industry, even
Mm.
if it's real estate or dental or something, but focusing on what they know the most and creating tools to help that specific industry. And
Yeah.
getting back to what I was saying before, the barrier to entry has never been lower. It's
Mm.
it's so simple to create new products that automate a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I,
I just to add to what you just said, when I was creating the SEO title tag generator, I also was taking into account the price of the product. And later I found out that since price is something that can be changed, uh, Google actually would rank your product lower if there's a discrepancy between the price that you mention in your title tag,
Mhm.
versus the price that you actually have inside.
Yeah,
So I ended up omitting it out, but that actually required me to read up on how SEO works.
mhm.
If I did not know about that fact through researching on SEO first, I would
Mm.
have made that mistake, and my product would be inferior to someone who's who already comes with the SEO expertise and who already knows about this fact. So yes, you're right. People who already have domain knowledge about certain things, they can make a lot of progress in very short time with this tool.
On the topic of SEO, one thing that I'm studying, and of course it's new, is learning how to rank inside the AI results. At present, it's Bing. You search in Bing, and you can get products listed in the first window before the actual search listings. Learning how to get listed in there is the a next phase of SEO, and it will be the same with Google, I imagine. So I'm putting a bit of research time into that as well. Cracking that code will make everyone a lot of money, and automating that process, which is what we do, will be gold. So we're looking into that right now, mate. I've got one more question, and I'll let you go. I know you're a very busy guy. Actually, two more questions. What's the number one? What's the difference working in AI in Dublin and in Bangalore, where you are now? Is it a different world for you?
Yeah, yes, yes, quite a bit. I find that I have a bit of a hustle mode. I don't like to stop really. I think in Europe that culture was not really there. People there have a better work-life balance, and they really like to enjoy life, not just their work. But in Bangalore, I find that people have though their work is essentially their identity, and the hustle culture is much stronger here. Just people coming up with new, cool ideas. The density of those new ideas is higher than here and than it is in Dublin, at least. So,
Wow,
yeah, I think for Europe, I'm not trying to paint it in a negative light. It's just that for me as a person, I am also a hustler. I don't like to stop. I have a lot of things on my plate at any given moment. So I think Bangalore resonates better with me.
perfect. And the last question is: what is the most thing, or the what brings you the most excitement in AI right now, or what are you looking forward to?
I am completely blank towards that
Because
because
there's so
you
much.
really do not know what's gonna come, and so much happens in such a short time. I was reading a tweet where I think it was Shopify CEO. He said we we completed 1 year in the last 24 hours in AI. So that was
Whoa.
after GPT-4 was launched.
Yeah.
And that's how fast progress is happening these days. So to answer your question, I really do not know what's gonna come. And honestly, it's exciting as well as um, a little anxiety inducing, or just excitement really. My sleeping is actually decreased. I used to sleep for 8 hours. Right now I'm sleeping for like 6 hours on a day.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can't complain. Maybe it's also visible on my face, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah. Or, mate, I think I'm going to have to come and visit you in Bangalore and
Please.
experience that AI energy that's happening over there.
Yeah, I would love to have you here. And likewise, I really want to go visit down under.
Oh, you're welcome here anytime. OJ, thank you so much for your time, mate. And hope maybe we'll catch up again in a couple of months and see what's happening in the space of AI.
Sure, sure. And I would love to catch up very soon. For your viewers, how would they be able to get in touch with me? Should I?
Yeah, what's your Twitter and your Instagram? I'll put them in the show notes. I'll put links
All
to
right.
your Twitter and Insta in the show notes so they can contact
Cool,
you.
cool, cool, cool. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun, and yes, looking forward to whatever's coming next.
Beautiful.